Hi guys, my name is Sonny Greenwich Jr. and I finally did it. Well, I'm just as surprised as you are. I was lucky enough to be able to get the SSL UC1 unbelievably. So I'm going to use some drums that Johnny has sent me for a new track that we're working on. I'll show you exactly how I use this, the same way I would use an SSL board. I'll let you know if there's anything about the UC1 that I don't like, if there's any problems or anything like that, I'll let you know that too. Now, let's get on with this. In my quest to make things easier in recording, I was trying to find one plugin that I could use as a channel strip. And I found the SSL plugins 6 months to a year ago. And what I really like about it is that it really has the feeling of the SSL channel strips on the actual desks, which is what I grew up learning on. When I heard about the UC1, I decided I would go ahead try and pick it up. I managed to get it because, well, I've been playing with it for about a week now, really enjoying it. Well, let me first of all show you what's on here. This is the UC1 right here, and it controls the SSL native channel strip too, using this side and this side right here. Channel in, and then the EQ in. From the top, you have low pass filter, high pass filter here. When I turn the buttons, they turn on the channel strip plugin as well. Then you've got your high frequencies here with the gain and frequency and a shelf or Q. Then you've got the high mid frequencies, gain, frequency, and Q as well. And also here you can change the EQ to an E series SSL sound. With the E out, it is the G series style EQ. The low mid filter, again with gain, Q, and frequency. Then the bottom, which is your low frequency, which also has a shelf or Q. Apparently, 70% of you are not subscribed to the channel. Go on down below and subscribe. Hit the bell button, smash the stuff, you know what to do. On to the next side, we'll pop it in. At the top you have your compressor section, ratio, threshold, release, and when you have these in, these VUs right here, one shows the compressor and the other shows the gate expander. So let me just play the kick drum here. So let's say we want a ratio of about 3.5. When I'm turning the ratio button here, it shows you the exact here. So that's 3.3, looking for a threshold. Just clicking the compressor there. Perfect. So now we want to go for the expander gate. So I want to bring the threshold up here and the range. Okay, so I'm still... There we go. I've taken the snare drum out of the kick drum. So that's the compressor, the gate expander here, and of course you have fast attack, something you wouldn't use on the kick drum because you want to let the transients of the kick drum in and grab the meat of the kick drum. Peak is like a hard knee with your release and hold buttons, so you can have a slower release. We'll turn the kick drum off. It's down in this bottom section. You can flip your polarity here. You can listen to the side chain alone. There's a solo clear button. This is the solo button. Now this solo button here doesn't actually solo your DAW. What it does is it solos all the iterations of the SSL native channel strip in your DAW. You have to run one iteration per channel of the native channel strip on each of your channels, and then the solo will work. The solo is actually soloing the channel strip plugins. Cut is there. Fine is if you want to grab something and move it in a very slow manner as opposed to fast. Now this mid section here allows you to see what track you're working on, so I can move through all my tracks here. I just have the kick running at the moment. It also allows me to use the presets. So I push preset, and now you can see you can go either to the bus compressor or the channel strip. So I'll go channel strip, you push the button, and then you can roll again. So producer presets, I'll click that. Adrian Hall, this is just the first one there, and we'll see if there's a kick drum here. Is there a kick? Kick inside. So we push the button again, and you'll see that it goes green. That means that that preset has now loaded onto the UC1 and into the plugin for the kick drum. Now to get out of there, you just use the back button here. The routing is another thing that's kind of interesting. The normal SSL thing is to go filters, EQ, dynamics, but you can see that's not there, so let's change this. Filter, EQ, dynamics. That's the thing that gives it the Spanky sound, the SSL sound. Now you can move it any way you like to have it, but that sound about SSL that you really like is that. Filters, EQ, into the dynamics. The things that I'm looking to see, which I may just be doing it wrong, but I'd like to be able to, for instance, click the button here to bring up the plugin. As it stands now, you have to turn the plugin on from within your DAW. The other thing I'd like to see is if you change plugin on the UC1, I'd like to see it change the channel strip plugin as well. That would be very, very handy. Another thing that the plugin has, which is right here, is the AB section, which I find really handy. And if we could have that here on the UC1, I think that would be a great thing too. So these are three things that I think that could be made a little bit better, or perhaps they're things that are just on the way coming down the line with a firmware update. And of course, last but not least, the SSL bus compressor, which is the middle section of the UC1. This is one of the things that made SSL famous, the mix bus compressor. As far as I know, bus compressing wasn't even a thing until SSL invented this section right here. It gives you everything that you need in a compressor as per normal. You've got your threshold, your makeup gain, your attack, your release, your ratio. It also gives you a way of doing external side chaining here with this. And also, you can actually put the bus compressor onto a track as opposed to having it on your mix bus, for instance. And then you could use this mix button here to run it as a parallel compression. So you could make the compression really hard here, then just use the dry-wet mix as a way of adding it into your actual signal. It's also called New York compression. You can do the presets as well. So you hit the presets button, you go to bus compressor, click again, then it brings you producer presets. You can use whatever you want, or I'll just try just one here. So now again, I'll just look for something. Drum parallel, drum room, AH mix bus. Just click the button and it changes everything right here and on the plugin as well. Now, the other thing that's really great about the plugin is the oversampling. Now, I normally turn the oversampling on to 4 times. I'm not really sure what it does, but it sounds great. On the plugin itself is the external sidechain button for here, and also the mix lock. I think it's for auditioning presets. As I've said in other videos, it made SSL famous, and they call it the rock box. And it certainly does that. It's the glue that brings everything together in your mix. Now, I'll just play a little bit here so you can see that the actual VUs run as in the plugin. The one last thing that you'll notice on the UC1 is this button right here, the 360. Now, if you click that in, that gives you this program, which is the 360 program, which allows you to see all the tracks that you're using the SSL plugins on as a mixer. Quickly run to your kick or to your djembe or to your piano. All of these buttons all relate exactly to here, so as long as you click in, let's say, for instance, now if you watch, I'll click on the piano, and you'll see that the piano is here. The tambourine, and you'll see that it flips to the tambourine. So all of these still control the same buttons as they would normally, and also then you have the zoom button, which brings you a really good close-up look. Really see what you're looking at. The other day, I was hearing a whole bunch of pumping in one of the songs, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I could see it then in the meters here. So let me just play something. So that shows you how the metering works. The 360 is a great little program to help you have an overview of your entire song. And also it gives you, if you're using your drum parallel or if you're using the mix bus, it will show up here in the middle of the UC1. The 360 program also is where your UC1 lives. And if any firmware or updates to the plugins, they come in here, home on the 360 program. If you're lucky enough to have a UF8, it also shows up here. That's the 360 program. I hope that was informative enough for you guys. I've really been enjoying the UC1. I've been working on songs like crazy just to do anything to see if I could find new ways of using it, or just to see if I could use it in the same way that I would use an SSL desk in the old days. I'm back. The internet's back. Everything is back. I will see you again next week sometime. Thanks very much.